What is up, everybody? Welcome to episode 2 of Source Sauce. Today we got a little bit of a theme going. We got aliens, UFO, Area 51, etc., etc., extraterrestrial kind of stuff. To my left, I got the man behind the monitor. We got Devlin.
What's up, boys?
Executive producer. In front of me, we got the man, the myth, the legend, the Ray Meister.
Otherwise known as Ray Money.
Ray Money.
Hello?
And also, to my right, we got the man, Reese.
Que pasa?
Who's also, like, French, I'm pretty sure.
We know
stuff.
he has a connection to French.
That's a theory. He was the one that helped DJT.
It's
I'm
a game
kidding.
theory.
I'm kidding. Who's found anything? Liberals.
No collusion.
Alright. So, like I said, aliens, UFOs, Area 51. Just gonna kind of fire off a couple events that kind of happened, and well, first I'm just gonna start off with, like, I personally believe that there is extraterrestrials.
I do too. I mean, what? There's a quote that I like, which I'm just gonna say it now. It's either we're alone in the universe or we're not. Both is equally as terrifying, and I mean that's a true statement. It really is.
Mm.
But I mean, I've always believed there's alien life. Maybe it's just not anywhere near us. Maybe it's in a different galaxy. Who knows? I mean, there has to be, right? I mean, what do you guys think?
I mean, honestly, I believe in extraterrestrial life, and I do believe that the government has tried to cover up some of it. I mean, we don't really know because 90% of the stuff that we're about to talk about is either classified or kept from the public and is only speculation.
Mm-hmm.
All we have is classified files, obviously.
Yeah.
We have strict government access thanks to your boys DJT, connections. Not really. Love you, DJT. Okay, you can go. What about you, Ray May? What do you believe?
I don't know. I don't know how much I really believe in, like, alien or extraterrestrial or whatever the heck it is. I guess I just ain't a big fan and really don't believe in it, but
You don't believe in aliens, really?
Well, maybe I could
No.
change that.
I don't know.
Alright.
Let's Steven Crowder him right now.
Yeah, change my mind or
Change
change your mind. Whatever we
DJT pin for the one.
DJT pin. Alright. So I'm gonna go and
Awesome.
we're gonna kind of start off with a little thing known as the Roswell incident. A lot of people consider it to be like the most conclusive evidence of extraterrestrial life.
I wouldn't say it's the most conclusive evidence.
I don't know, it's the most relevant and the most publicly known.
Yeah. Well,
Okay,
and
I'll
it
give
has
you that.
it has quite a bit of evidence.
Yeah, not to mention the countless civilian reports of
Mhm.
extraterrestrial activity. And keep in mind, these are just normal people like farmers in the area, ranchers, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
I guess that's... I'll give you that one, like I said. I'll give you that one.
So I basically have just kind of the timeline and a couple weird things that happen. I mean, the whole thing is extremely weird and extremely, like, sketchy, if that's what you want to call it.
When it involves aliens, it's usually sketchy.
Agreed. Alright, so this is the Roswell incident. So in 1947, I got this fact from BuzzFeed. You gotta cite my stuff, you know?
I'm sorry.
Alright,
BuzzFeed.
because this is kind of like straight out of the gate. So, in 1947, there were more UFO sightings and extraterrestrial
Stop
being
playing with the
sightings.
DJT pin.
There were more than usual. I mean, you'd have the occasional, like, I think they said, like, in the teens of, like, 12 sightings per year. But then, in 1947, in the last 6 months is what they said, there were 300 plus claims and sightings, including the Roswell one. So, on June 14th, 1947, something crashed into Boston Ranch. Can't deny that something crashed in there. Obvious evidence. And July 4th, 1947, forgive me if I don't say the names right, Mac Brazel went and he picked up some of the debris from the crash. Mac was a rancher or a farmer. He had a ranch just outside of Roswell, and just a regular old rancher basically. So 3 days later, he brought a piece of the debris to the sheriff, George Wilcox, and from here it became just basically a game of telephone, of kind of like a he said she said, which is kind of like what makes this kind of sketchy. George Wilcox contacted Colonel Butch Blanchard. Then Butch contacted a military base outside of Roswell. Forgot what the name was called. Then General Roger W. Ramsey, he was the one contacted at the military base. He contacted Major Jesse Muriel to assess and collect some of the debris. Then the next day, Colonel Butch Blanchard, he told the public, he went to some press, the head of the press around the town, and he made it public that they may have a flying saucer, like quote, flying saucer, in their possession. So of course that, sparks like alien,
Well,
controversy.
yeah. So the same day they released that to the press, and they completely 180'd on their story. Then the general, Roger Ramey, he ordered the crash remains, like the rest of them, like the rest of the crash, to be taken to him personally in his base. And so he went and he just completely offed it as a weather balloon. Like, they just said, oh, it's just a weather balloon. No aliens, nothing else. Turn away, basically.
Sorry, folks. Just a little quick pause. Okay.
So, let's see, where I was at. Yeah, okay, so he said that it was just a weather balloon. See, where was he named? The Mac, he said that it was weird, like rubber and other stuff. Yeah. Then on July 9th, 1947, Mac Brazel, the one who originally found it, he went back on his story and said, oh, it was just wood and plastic and paper. Basically things that they made the weather balloons with. So everybody just kind of like, okay, big hoax, no big deal. That's all it was just a weather balloon. So everybody went back on their story until, dun dun dun, 1978. You do the math there. Stanton Friedman, one of the top UFO researchers, who was also, I think he had some, I'm not sure if it was military or some kind of background in science. He interviewed Major Jesse Marker, whatever his name is. The Major Jesse, he was the one who went to go and pick up to assess and to collect the debris that he found. Like, he was the second one to go beside the rancher. And then Major Jesse, he told Friedman that just right out of the blue he knew it wasn't a weather balloon. He said that there was a metal that he knew was not from this earth. It was, he said whenever he picked it up, it was like you were holding nothing. He said it was as thin as the tinfoil you find in a cigarette box, but you couldn't break it and you couldn't bend it.
Interesting.
So, and some other guy, I forgot who it was, some other major colonel or somebody said that they took that metal and they like smashed it with a sledgehammer and it didn't even bend. No dents or nothing. So clearly something really crazy that went on.
Couldn't really have been aluminum because aluminum would have broke at that point.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
like he said he
definitely.
couldn't even tear it. Like
Yeah.
like you couldn't do anything to touch this metal basically.
I bet you couldn't even grill with it.
I guess. So Friedman then concluded that it was all like it was just a big cover up by the government. And the government went on to say years and years later that it was a cover up. They said it was all a huge cover up because they said that it was a cover up for a military like airplane or something that happened to crash.
Experimental aircraft at the time.
Yeah. And which for one doesn't explain the next thing I'm about to say. That I think it was over 50 people had reportedly seen alien bodies around, like dead alien bodies, and they all did their reports. You know, they said everything, and then somebody from the government was asked about it, and they said, "Oh, that was just an experiment. We dropped human-like rubber bodies out of the sky to see what it would do to the body, basically."
Yeah, which doesn't tie into the aircraft crash, because if it's actually a legitimate crash, then why would they have, like, I mean, experimental dummies in it?
And the thing is, okay, I don't understand. I'm kind of going back on my word here. That you're going to convince me here, but like, I don't understand how these dummies, they drop them out of the airplane. How would they see what happened to them if they didn't go pick them up?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Exactly.
Well-
they wouldn't be there.
And
That's a good
here's
point.
another thing on how everybody knew it was a lie, was because the government at that press was saying about how that was just the rubber bodies, and how it was just so easy to mistake them. Gave descriptions of them, just human-like, 6 foot tall. Well, everybody that did the report on seeing these alien bodies all reported them as 4 foot tall, which is a 2 foot difference. That's pretty, like, I don't understand if you like 3 inches or so.
I mean, I'm pretty sure we've all seen that meme. It's like 5 foot, 6 foot, and there is some truth to that meme. So 4 foot, 6 foot, that's
That's a huge difference.
Yeah.
That's 2 feet we're talking. And everyone described, and every single person there described it the same way: as 4 foot tall, big head, small body, big eyes. That's how they described it. So that was kind of like a, well, okay, so these guys are lying to us. But one other thing that kind of, you know, like you look back and you say, okay, well, the Matt guy, he went back on his story, like a month later after he initially saw that thing. He said, oh, it was just a weather balloon. Well, shortly after,
why is it always a weather balloon?
I don't know. Well, after the 8th of July, 1947, he reportedly left his job as a rancher in a brand new truck to go to the big city to start a business. Sounds like he got paid off to me.
How,
He just left his ranch. There's no way.
I
Left
mean,
everything that he had.
No one in their right mind would do that.
yeah. Can I just like, for a little, excitement for the viewers, if we ever get viewers, for anyone out there, just speculate how much he got. I guess I don't know. I imagine it's a lot of money to keep
Yeah.
your mouth
All
quiet
that
about
time.
that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, in the time.
Well, and keep in mind, it was a brand new truck, is what people said. Like friends of his and neighbors said, it was a brand new truck. Like I guess he drove around like an old pickup or something.
Huh.
But then after this whole situation, he just, yeah. So that's pretty much all I have for the Roswell. My speculation, conspiracy, whatever you want to call it, is that there was indeed a UFO. Like if that metal, the metal that they're talking about, was indeed real, as reported, that's nothing on this earth.
Exactly.
Because if
Yeah.
there's anything like that, can you imagine like how different everything would be?
Yeah.
Like things that are built, like cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean at the time, like even if you think of like the strongest metals such as titanium, or depleted uranium, at the time they had just, and I mean just created the nuclear bomb. Okay, they had just dropped it. Maybe, when did you say it was the first encounter? When it first fell?
1947, June 14th.
Yeah. So, 2 years or so after the end of World War II, yes, they were creating nuclear bombs, but I don't think it was until like the 1950s or 1960s until they started experimenting with nuclear power. And depleted uranium is the strongest metal on top of titanium on this earth, and I think even it would at least crack,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but that would be way ahead of its time in the first place. So, I mean, there could be a theory that it's time travelers,
Mm-hmm.
and there's also could
Like
be a theory
Futurama?
like I don't know necessarily about Futurama.
Well, in the
It
episode,
could
they
be
time travel
travelers,
back.
or it could legitimately be aliens. So
Yeah.
I mean, let's save the time travel theories for another episode. But this story actually reminds me of another one. It was like, if I remember right, it was called the Battle of L.A. And I'm probably getting the details wrong. I just read the wiki page, and I think it's... Now, I read it like a few minutes ago. I have bad memory. And it said like 1942. So it was sometime during World War II. That's the main thing I remember. People were scared, and all of a sudden one night sirens started blaring, and I'm probably getting a lot of details wrong. I just want to state this for anyone who's listening and knows the actual story.
Always take that.
So sirens started blaring, people took cover, and a bunch of spotlights went up into the air as they saw a target in the air, and they just started firing on it. And now I can't remember what happened. I remember that the firing stopped, but I can't remember if they ever found any wreckage. If I remember right, they didn't find any wreckage, or supposedly didn't find any wreckage. Quotation marks. I just realized people who are listening can't see that. But so most people theorize it was aliens, and I mean, yeah, it's an interesting story to me.
Mm-hmm.
But that's kind of what it reminded me of. So, sorry for all the details I got wrong, if I got any wrong, for any of those who know the true story. So, anyways.
So yeah, that's what I have for the Roswell. There was another,
The Malaysia flight?
the Malaysia flight. Forgot what the name, the number.
The
was like.
numbers?
It
I
was
think
like
people
Boeing
already know.
777.
I think people already know. Wasn't it a 3?
747.
Was it?
I thought there was a 3.
I don't know.
737, 747.
I think people already know what we're talking about anyways.
Yeah.
If we're talking about aliens and we mention the Malaysian flight, I think people know. Malaysia flight. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Sorry if I'm butchering it once again.
It's alright. So this flight had like almost 300 people on it, and it was flying from someplace to someplace. It was a long flight.
Ohio to
Could
Ohio.
speculate that it could be above the Bermuda Triangle.
Perhaps. Well, basically what happened was it was flying, and then everything got cut off. No connection. No like radio connection. No basically no contact with the airplane. And I mean, it's above the ocean. Nobody's gonna see it. So that was it. And it just evaporated out of thin air. Nobody knew where this thing went, and big thing. 300 people are just gone. Nobody knows even the slightest of where they could be.
Can you pull up the black box recording? Because I remember we talked about this like a little bit
The
ago.
black box wasn't found, but what some people believe is that the black box is transmitted to the nearest location that it can be picked up at.
Yeah.
So what happened was this guy on Twitter, okay, it's a bit of a stretch, I understand, but this guy on Twitter, he got a voicemail giving off like, what's it called, like it's like Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta.
Military coordinates?
Yeah. Started giving out that. And he basically wrote it down, and it ended up being like, they are here, they are not human, send help, or something like that. Basically it was an SOS pleading with them to get help because they have aliens, is basically what it speculated. And so of course this dude was like freaking out because he just got this and he doesn't know what it is, so he posted on Twitter, and people like break it down and stuff. But then this guy keeps on receiving more and more messages, more voicemails, and he keeps on getting messages of they're here, they're aliens, stuff like that. He gets one where it's Morse code, and it was like Morse code, but it was coordinates or something like that. And some lady deciphered it, and it was coordinates. And so they punched into Google or whatever, and it turns out that was like right around the area of where the flight went missing. So that's where the whole black box theory came into play. This is what that guy received.
Sierra, Delta, Alpha, November, Golf, Echo, Romeo, Sierra, Oscar, Sierra, India, Tango, India, Sierra, Delta, India, Romeo, Echo, Foxtrot, Oscar, Romeo, Yankee, Oscar, Uniform, Tango, Oscar, Echo, Victor, Alpha, Charlie, Uniform, Alpha, Tango, Echo, Bravo, Echo, Charlie, Alpha, Uniform, Tango, India, Oscar, Uniform, Sierra, Tango, Hotel, Echo, Yankee, Alpha, Romeo, Echo, November, Oscar, Tango, Hotel, Uniform, Mike, Alpha, November, 042933964230, Sierra, Oscar, Sierra, Delta, Alpha, November, Golf, Echo, Romeo, Sierra, Oscar, Sierra.
So that read out danger SOS. It is dire for you to evacuate because be cautious, they are not human. Gave off some coordinates, then it said danger SOS.
Yeah, so pretty spooky stuff, ain't it?
Very much thought-provoking,
Yeah.
let's say.
Definitely. And that's...
To this day, they haven't found out what happened to it, have they?
People have reported speculating of seeing, or like, having a piece of metal that they found, like, in the ocean or something.
If I remember right, I remember seeing something about people seeing it flying overhead before. When did this happen? Do you know, like what year?
Years ago. I don't.
Like 80s.
No. It was
90s.
It was 2000. It would have been whenever I went to Branson, actually. So, gosh, maybe 2019. Probably like 2010, 20.
We could ask Google. We have a Google Home for the viewers out there.
Something like that. Whenever it first came out, it was saying like the Russians shot it down, or
Yeah.
Something along those lines.
Oh yeah, I do think I remember something about that.
But yeah, no, it has been found. Okay, and another thing about this Twitter thing, the guy that received it days before, like he posted on Twitter days before, there's a dude outside of my house with a flashlight taking pictures, and then he had like a picture of like what this dude was like taking pictures of something, and then a couple days later, sure enough, he gets these voicemails of whatever that happened to be. Whether it was just a sick prank call or because whatever it was something crazy, and he kept on receiving Morse code in the mail, in his phone again. He ended up getting like DMs from Twitter of like coded messages of like you better delete this or else, you know, random stuff like that.
Can I add in just some real quick? The more I'm hearing about this, it sounds like an ARG, which for all of you who don't know, an ARG is a alternate reality game. Look up The Sun Has Vanished. It's something, if you know what The Sun Has Vanished is, it's pretty much, that's what an ARG is. But if you don't know what that is, look it up. It's actually pretty interesting. But there's a complete possibility that this is not what happened. Like, the Twitter thing is fake. I just want to throw that out there.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also the chance that it could be real. There is no definitive way of knowing. The world is full of mysteries.
Yeah.
But you can continue.
So there's that. And then he kept on receiving those threats of, delete that now or else.
Delete it or you're gonna get shot, bro.
I mean, essentially.
I mean, that's what I imagine is pretty much what they're saying.
Uh,
So it's basically what you're saying is this guy was being threatened that if he don't take down that stuff that he will most likely be killed.
and then a couple days later, his Twitter and those videos were all deleted.
Well, I mean, you can't really delete anything from the internet.
Well, no, but it was deleted from the original page.
Yeah, from the original
and
poster.
the guy has recently went back on the story saying it was probably just a prank call. He hasn't said that it didn't happen, because it did happen, but he's saying that it was like a prank call or something.
Yeah, because there's no denying that it didn't happen when, like, the internet's kind of forever, really.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
Hillary deleted those emails, but,
Well, I mean,
We're
There's
not
no
talking
evidence.
about politics today. We're talking about aliens.
I mean,
Keep it
because going
aliens.
back to the Roswell incident, if that happened nowadays, it would be a completely different story. Which
Yeah.
makes me wonder if that's why aliens were such a big deal back then. Because, like, in ancient Egypt, whenever they were making pyramids or whatever, it was like, it's a pretty big theory still to this day of, like, the aliens helped them make it.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, how could they make such great structures in that time?
Yeah.
But, yeah, personally, I believe the laser flight. It could, I don't know, it's pretty scary to think about, considering I fly on an airplane every once in a while.
yeah.
Personally, I've never flown in an airplane, and I gotta admit, I'm a bit on the fence about the story. I'm leaning more towards believing it, but at the same time, I don't know. I don't know. Something about it just doesn't seem right. I mean, those people really did disappear. There's no, like, I fully believe that. But,
I mean, there's been many things like what the heck happened to Amelia Earhart, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
mean, and
That ties into the Bermuda Triangle quite a bit because, like, there's been several hundred aircraft lost over the Bermuda Triangle just out of nowhere, really.
Yeah, with Amelia Earhart, I remember having to research her back in grade school, and I always wondered, like, I mean, she did go over the Bermuda Triangles, to my understanding, and Bermuda Triangle is like a very scary thing.
yeah, it's a pretty hyped place, bro.
Yeah, the main thing, I can't remember if it was the government that came out and said it, or maybe just skepticals, but just that they think that it's magnetic interference or whatever, and I mean, they've got systems to counteract that, because like if it's magnetic interference that's natural, not man-made, obviously, then it wouldn't interfere with the aircraft. So
Yeah.
it's not strong enough to.
Speaking of man-made magnetic energies, I have another story that this just reminded me of. I know I'm going to remind of a lot of stories. Have any of you heard of the M cave thing?
No.
No, you haven't? So this story is actually quite interesting. So this YouTuber, I can't remember the name, can't remember the actual guy's name. He did actually disappear, for everyone's information. He said that basically he visited this strange cave out near Area 51. So basically he visited this cave, and it was like this, he had this like weird sensation when entering it, and like it was like vibrating or something. And it was like really weird. So, but he left because he got pretty scared because of the vibrations, and he dipped straight away. So, and he said that he was going back to find it, and he made a few videos of trying to find it to show people. But one day, he hadn't posted for a while. If I'm remembering the story right again, I'm probably getting some details wrong. I'm sorry about that. But one day he went to go look for it, and he didn't come back. So people found a camera. If I remember the story right, I'm probably mixing it up with a movie or something. But they found his camera with a video on it. It doesn't show the M cave or anything, but basically, no one really knows what happened to him. Most people assume that he is most likely deceased. The theory is that either the M cave had some sort of government thing in there to keep people out, hence the vibrations, or it was an alien cave, I guess you could say.
Big old Venus flytrap.
Yeah, bro. But so to this day, no one has no idea what happened to this guy.
Well,
So,
I mean,
The M cave story is
many
pretty creepy.
people have also just been lost and just never found in the woods, though. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, there's the theory that he just kind of went bananas. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's always a theory with people who go
Swim
missing.
bonkers.
Go
Absolutely
crazy.
mental.
Go
yeah.
stupid. Anyways,
Area 51. That's another
let's
really,
just
really
shimmy on over to that.
kind of doohickey, I guess.
Um,
There's no denying that Area 51 is a real thing. It's what
Oh, yeah,
is inside that
That
is-
people are interested in.
Let me state another
Let
thing,
me state this.
as just that the military denied Area 51's existence until
It was like 90s or 2000s.
I think it was like 2012
Yeah.
or 2011. I may be getting my dates wrong because I don't quite remember, but I do remember that they finally declared it as an actual base for testing experimental military aircraft, and that's why it's so secretive. But I mean, honestly, it's one of the places that I'd love to check out.
I mean, who
sometime.
wouldn't want to go to Area 51, bro?
But I've heard their guards they're pretty strict.
They're not very welcoming.
Yeah.
Like you see like the videos of people trying to go to Area 51, and like they'll like drive in and they'll get close, and then you'll see all the tinted trucks come flying in
Yeah.
to get out of here, or else you're done for.
Yeah, it's some pretty hardcore stuff.
Has anybody ever been successful in trying to get there, or?
Some clickbait YouTubers apparently.
Yeah, I mean, there's always clickbaiters who are gonna say, yeah.
Well, obviously
We've
they're
been
gonna
there.
stop after they get stopped by military personnel,
Oh,
basically.
I mean,
Heavily
unless
armed.
they sneak in like the middle
There's no
of
way
the
to
night.
sneak.
No.
No,
They guard it 24/7. It's like any other military base. They have guard posts.
including aerial.
I mean, it's
So, there's
probably
no drones.
it's probably one of the better defended ones, because there's probably a lot of people who want to break in.
I mean, like, so has anybody ever tried to like fly a drone over and then just?
Because they have airplanes up there too.
So like, if someone like
You could be
no
arrested
one's
for doing
ever
that too.
tried to take a drone up and just.
No, I'm sure there's plenty of people that have tried, but then they'll get shot down like no warning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The drones, not the people. We should state that. Let me state that.
I mean, people can get shot down. If
Oh,
they
yeah.
continue.
If you took a
It's
truck in
trespassing
there
on
and you
government
kept
property.
driving, I guarantee you they have EMPs which they can set off like remotely, which will disable your vehicle, and you're gonna get pulled out of your vehicle, and you're probably gonna get tried for a federal offense and go to jail, or you're just gonna be shot on the spot.
Mhm.
Yep, depending on how resistant
Because
you
after a certain point, it is okay for them to shoot you because they have already posted it.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And around Area 51, you have all the. In Area 51, you have all the reports of like people seeing, things flying over it, and different things, extraterrestrial like. So it does make me wonder about that place, and
I'm pretty sure it makes everyone wonder, really. I mean, who doesn't wonder about what's really inside Area 51? Are they telling the truth? Are they lying to us?
which we've been lied to before. Go back to Roswell and Hillary Clinton.
That's
You can go back to like
there's
the
a lot
government
of
Emails.
keeps secrets from the public, and there's no question about that.
yeah.
I mean,
The government's always gonna have their secrets, and some of them it makes sense why they keep it, but other times it's like, why? Why would you keep that from us?
And it's kind of hard to believe whenever you have incidents like Roswell and email things.
Email
Yeah.
female.
Email female.
Female
Yeah,
to female.
because I mean they can say it's just a military base for different aircrafts and stuff. But then I mean like
please don't take
why
this
should I
video down,
believe?
Hillary Clinton.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, emails.
Please don't take it
email
down.
female's gonna delete our podcast.
Don't worry, she's in no standing in government to be doing that anyway.
Please
Sweet.
don't take our videos down.
Please.
She can only sign into Gmail. She doesn't know what YouTube is.
Oh,
Ah,
okay.
she sent her emails to the wrong person. Okay, let it go.
So, I mean, it's kind of hard to believe. Like personally, I am a big fan of, a big fan of DJT, stuff like that. Granted, there are people,
DJT.
Illuminati.
I don't think. Wait, why? Why are
Listen.
we went from Area 51 to
Because
okay? I guess
there
it's not
has to
far.
be somebody besides, a higher power. There has to be somebody, like, I believe,
above the one and all.
above the president of the United States.
One above all.
There's like, how like the president can veto everything, the man who is above Donald Trump can veto him, and because I think that DJT is he's got enough balls that he'll put out whatever he wants to. So I don't know, because I feel like Area 51 hasn't even been touched on since he's been in.
I don't. I
'cause
haven't heard.
He's released the JFK, hasn't he?
I thought so, but I mean, like, popularity with the whole Area 51 thing has dropped.
I have
immensely.
not heard anything about
Yeah.
Area 51 in so long until we started talking
And
about
with
this
it,
podcast.
even aliens and such, like, they've dropped in popularity, so there's not as big of a buzz about it, and it's not being covered by the media, so...
Man, can I just give a quick shout out to the Area 51 game on Xbox, like the original Xbox? That game was awesome.
Some OG stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so going back a little, you push the mic back, brother.
Whoops.
So going back, y'all, this is just a little story. Remember when the three boys went to Hiawatha? We thought it was for the last
Oh
time.
yeah, I forgot about that story.
We were headed to Walmart, about 20 miles
I'll get
away
to this
from where
part
we
in a
live.
second.
And we were driving down, and we saw like this was like a bright blue light or something.
Yeah, and it looked like it was following us. I mean, of course, we, like, brushed it off after the fact,
Yeah.
and just kind of laughed about it, but, I don't know, it's because everybody's kind of a skeptic. I mean... We
Yeah.
didn't see an actual UFO or anything. I mean, all we saw was that blue light, and it could have easily been a bush plane or something.
I thought you were just gonna say
That-
bush. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, 'cause flying bushes.
Flying bushes are scary, bro. You ever seen Fortnite glitches?
Hashtag
So-
Fortnite.
Anyway, like,
He's bush.
like bush planes and stuff like that around our area, it's common for them to be flying through the air because we don't have commercial airports, but we got small airports for small planes, like maybe 4 or 5 seater airplanes and stuff. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we genuinely thought that it was, or I genuinely thought it was a UFO.
I genuinely
and I
thought it
that
too.
that it was our last time. We went to Walmart. Keep in mind, this is at like what 11:30.
yeah, it was the
night.
middle of the night. I think it was closer to 12, but yeah.
Yeah, we went there and we were like, well, we're dead, so we might as well have our last meal. And we got like the Walmart sandwiches, and we just ate them there. And
No, I got a Walmart chicken wrap, bro.
yeah, but then
Southwest
like, 'cause we were
chicken
like,
wrap. That
we're
stuff
like,
is
we
the
might
best.
as well go out on a full tummy.
Shout out to the Southwest chicken wrap at Walmart. Those things are
Bro,
the best.
chill. You're getting chunky on us.
I don't care. Those things are
Straight chunk.
delicious.
Chill out.
Anyways,
I
I remember like sitting in the back seat with my old phone, bro, just vibing, and you guys started saying that. I was like, I'm scared, so I texted Mom I love her, and then I might not see her again.
Did you really?
Yeah. I had to explain to Mom when I got home what that was about.
Oh, also, whenever we got back, we at the house we thought we saw a mountain of cocaine.
Wait, that was the same day that
That was the
happened?
same night.
It was?
Because we popped her in reverse, started bringing her back, and then because we rolled over this pile of what we thought was cocaine.
I forgot
pretty
about that, bro.
First time I've
Another episode.
it was the first time I've ever texted the police over Facebook.
And legitimately, it turned out to be laundry detergent, but who legitimately drops a pile that big of laundry detergent in the middle of the street? They probably dropped a little bit of crack on the street, and they're like, "Oh crap, we need to cover this up because we can't get this all vacuumed up."
You know
And
the
then they
window's
just
open,
probably
right?
just poured it all. It doesn't matter
They're gonna hear us come over here and beat us up.
because they don't stay in their house all day.
That is true.
Yeah, but then the crack had like rolled out. I want to see what's so interesting.
The
Oh,
worst part
good
is, the
time.
worst thing we could have done is we all
Maybe
bursted
she
out.
was the alien.
She is
Crackheads
the-
are aliens.
Crackheads are aliens on another episode.
Bum, bum, bum.
So, well, that really covers it.
Yeah, I think we got a good little alien UFO Area 51 basis. So yeah, I think we're gonna about wrap her up here. Thank you, Mr. Reese,
Yeah.
for tagging along for the ride. Thank you, Ray Money, for being along.
And this is your co-host and host signing off with a little
And-
message beforehand.
And yeah, we just want to thank y'all for letting us tickle your ears.
I do not want that to be our little like quote.
So yeah, thank you for letting us tickle your
No, I
ears.
don't want. Stop
And-
that.
Thank you
Tickle
for,
your ears.
yeah.
That is an awful quote. Stop.
Ear
Alright.
tickling.
Thank you for letting us tickle your ears. We'll be sure to have another podcast coming out shortly. So yeah, make sure to comment, like, subscribe, smash the bell to get notified every time that we upload.
Put a crack in that bell.
Smash that like button just like DJ T-Pen.
This
UGT
is your host, Ikey Boy.
This
And-
is your co-host Devlin.
Rafik.
Guest star, but probably gonna be permanent star. RCF
Hopefully.
or Reese or whatever you want to call me. I don't really care.
And we are signing off until the next time. Peace.
DJ
Peace.
T.